According to the latest report from Turkey's environmental agency, the wild boar population in the region has surged by nearly 40% compared to last year. This explosion not only wreaks havoc on the land, upturning soil and destroying vegetation, but also pushes dangerously close to residential areas. Facing a clear ecological imbalance, the authorities have urgently launched a controlled hunt. This time, we set out, not just to hunt, but to preserve the fragile balance between humans and nature. Join us as we embark on this intense and gripping journey. Armed with specialized weapons, cutting-edge gear, and a pack of fierce hunting dogs, we headed straight into the hotspot. Within minutes, the dogs picked up a scent, their sharp barks echoing through the woods. Thanks to their expert training, the target was locked down in a tight circle. A steady aim, a decisive shot, hitting the vital spot. The beast dropped instantly. But the hunt wasn't over. Moving forward, more massive shadows emerged. Shots rang out, fast, clean, effective. The mission was off to a promising start. After scouting the terrain, we realized this spot was a natural fortress, a perfect hideout for the wild boars. Suddenly, the dogs barked again. Everyone snapped into position. This time, the glory went to John, a cold, precise shot. Another target down, a sharp reminder that the battle was far from over. Unfazed, I pushed deeper, carefully sweeping through every bush along the familiar terrain. A pungent, sharp smell filled the air, a clear sign the predator was close, ready in an instant. Without warning, it charged out from the thicket. With experience and nerves of steel, I reacted in a flash. Crack of gunfire, sharp and clear. The giant beast fell, utterly spent. One reflex was all it took to prove who was in control of the hunt. Before I could catch my breath, the dog's urgent barking pulled me back to full alert. Regaining my focus quickly, I moved forward, ready for a new challenge. There it was. In the critical moment, I squeezed the trigger. A perfect shot, clean and precise. No matter how well it tried to hide, the prey couldn't escape the seamless teamwork between hunter and dogs. And just like that, we pressed onward, bagging several more targets. The afternoon sun dipped lower, filtering through the dense canopy and shrinking the boar's hiding advantage. Yet here, visibility opened wide, ideal for spotting fresh targets. Just as expected, shadows appeared. Without hesitation, I pulled the trigger. Nice! Another troublemaker taken down. Gunfire followed in quick succession. Target after target fell. By now, the wild boar numbers in the area were nearly under control. We ventured deeper into thick brush, the wild boar's refuge from the harsh sun. Minutes later, hidden shapes revealed themselves. Every precise shot took down a revealed target. After hours of tension, the battle finally drew to a close. A brutal day, but a crucial step toward restoring balance to this ecosystem. Wild boars are unleashing a terrifying nightmare, ravaging crops, spreading disease, and crippling the agricultural economy. Today, hunters step into a battle not just to hunt, but to save nature from devastation. Follow the heart-pounding pursuits where their courage and reflexes are pushed to the limit. Watch until the end to understand why these savage beasts must be stopped immediately. Since early morning, John's hunting team has been on the scene, sealing off the Italian countryside. Not long after, the first shot of the day rings out. A massive wild boar suddenly charges toward John's position. Seizing the moment, a rapid burst of gunfire erupts, and the beast collapses to the ground. A flawless strike, eliminating one threat to these fields. But the journey has only just begun. John moves on to the next position, determined to let none escape. As John tracks the traces of the savage beasts, a sound signals the presence of prey. There it is, a wild boar charging like an arrow, aiming to vanish into the forest ahead. John instantly pulls the trigger. A barrage of shots rings out, tracking the beast's every step. Without a single misstep, it collapses onto the grass. A precise shot, swiftly preventing another wave of destruction to the fields here. On the golden fields, a breathless ambush is unfolding. A sharpshooter, patiently concealed for 15 minutes, finally spots the silhouette of a wild boar. Without hesitation, a decisive gunshot rings out, and the beast collapses in an instant. Less than a minute later, another boar suddenly charges forward. With no wasted movement, a precise shot leaves the beast lifeless on the grass. The threat to these fields is completely eliminated. Leaving behind the limited view from the ground, we ascend to a fierce battle in the skies. James' helicopter roars into the air, the chaotic scene below quickly coming into sharp focus. There they are, a large herd of wild boars gathered on the field. The pilot swiftly lowers the altitude, bringing the helicopter in close, clearing the way for the sharpshooters to begin the chase. Gunshots ring out relentlessly, pursuing each beast through a hail of bullets. In the blink of an eye, one after another is brought down, leaving only their lifeless bodies on the cold ground. The helicopter presses on to the post-harvest field. Another herd of wild boars is quickly spotted. The helicopter swiftly closes in, cutting off the beast's escape. A relentless barrage of gunshots echoes, and within minutes, every target lies fallen on the field. Moving on to the adjacent field, James spots the silhouettes of another herd of wild boars below. The helicopter swiftly maneuvers to close in on the prey, setting up the sharpshooters for clear shots.
Fuck.
The monstrous beasts are ravaging the crops, turning fertile land into a desolate mire and gravely threatening the native ecosystem. This is the moment for the hunters to step in, to save this land before it's too late. Do they have the courage to face these colossal creatures? Join us in the mystical swamp, where every step harbors danger and every moment is a breathless confrontation. Watch to the end to pick the hunt that impresses you most. As dawn broke, John's hunting team gathered in their familiar truck, heading to the Texas swamp. Upon arrival, the team moved into their pre-assigned positions. Leon and his comrades swiftly boarded the boat, embarking on their quest to track the monstrous beasts. Just 15 minutes in, a wild boar suddenly appeared right before them. Without hesitation, a gunshot rang out, neutralizing the threat in an instant. A precise, swift shot. A perfect start to the day's hunt. Leaving the boat and venturing deeper, they swiftly took cover in their positions. Mere minutes later, a wild boar suddenly charged out at the swamp's edge, landing squarely in the hunter's sights. Seizing the moment, a bullet was fired. In an instant, the beast collapsed to the ground, marking another triumph for the team. At another position, the hunter in hiding closely watched every movement around. Suddenly, a wild boar ambled out, oblivious to being in the crosshairs. Seizing the opportunity, rapid gunshots rang out, cutting off the beast's escape. A mere second's delay, and it could have wreaked havoc across the area. At the same moment, in a Turkish field, a thrilling chase unfolded between Finn and a colossal beast. Spotting the familiar silhouette from afar, he immediately sprang into action. As the beast turned its head, a decisive gunshot rang out. The creature collapsed to the ground, unable to resist further. A threat swiftly and precisely eliminated. At the edge of the rice field, as the hunter keenly observed every moment around, the prey suddenly burst out from within. Instantly, a gunshot rang out, cutting off its escape route. A split second slower, and the beast might have slipped away, but fortunately, it no longer had a chance to cause further destruction. At the neighboring field, Finn had taken up his blocking position. There it was, a wild boar charging at full speed from the distance, but it made a fatal mistake by veering toward Finn. He swiftly tracked the beast's movement, and then he pulled the trigger as it drew near. With just a single shot, the beast collapsed onto the grass. Another perfect triumph recorded for the team. Hunting wild boars not only protects crops, land, and agricultural economies, but also helps restore the balance between humans and nature. However, this activity must be tightly regulated to ensure sustainability and ethical wildlife conservation. The mysterious forests of Russia have become a perfect hideout for these elusive beasts. They seize every chance to forage, tearing up every inch of land and spreading fear among the locals. Hunters set out, day or night, determined to track down and eliminate the destructive horde. Will the boars have any chance to continue their rampage here? Thrilling hunts and dramatic pursuits are about to unfold, revealing all. Follow along right now. Kicking off today's battle, a hunting team arrived, driving their familiar vehicle deep into the Russian forest. Upon reaching the site, the team swiftly fanned out, searching for traces of wild boars. Soon after, the hunting dog's loud barks echoed, signaling the target's location. A marksman rushed forward, spotting a massive boar surrounded by the dogs right in front of him. He took precise aim and pulled the trigger. The beast collapsed instantly with no chance to escape. The first shot rang out, marking the official start of the battle. At another position, the team notched yet another victory. The moment the beast appeared in the crosshairs, a simultaneous volley of gunfire rang out. The creature collapsed onto the cold ground, its hope of escaping completely extinguished. Another threat was eliminated, strengthening the mission to protect the forest. At the forest's edge, Leon was carefully scanning the surroundings. Suddenly, a wild boar darted across his line of sight. With a single shot, it crashed to the ground, unable to escape the team's finest marksman. A clean strike, restoring peace to this land. Leaving the Russian forest behind, we join Thomas's team for a nighttime hunt, where a fierce battle unfolds to protect crops from razor-sharp claws. The team sets up a tight formation surrounding the field. At the field's edge, a herd of wild boars ravaging the crops comes into Jay's sights. As soon as the lead boar enters his crosshairs, a barrage of gunfire erupts. The beasts are taken down one by one, with only a single lucky survivor escaping. The scattered carcasses across the field stand as stark evidence of the relentless nighttime pursuit. A silent yet intensely dramatic battle is unfolding in the field. Through infrared binoculars, the marksmen quickly spot a herd of wild boars diligently foraging. Locking on to the largest, fattest one, he pulls the trigger without hesitation. It collapses on the spot, while the others scatter in panic, narrowly escaping his gunfire.
Nice to see you.
At the same time, on the eastern side of the field, Thomas spotted another herd of wild boars. He carefully selected the optimal position and angle, then opened fire. Shot after shot rang out, taking down boars one by one, leaving them no chance to escape. Another victory was etched into the record, concluding a highly effective hunt. One more piece of land reclaimed its peace, at least for tonight. Though the number of boars taken down was significant, it's only a fraction compared to their rapid reproduction rate. Still, every shot fired helps protect the crops and brings peace to the local people.
Wild boars are ravaging the fields, spreading fear among farmers. But standing still is not an option. A group of fearless hunters has gathered, ready to take down the beasts and restore balance to the land. What follows are heart-pounding confrontations, where skill and precision make all the difference. Will these wild boars escape? Stay with us until the end to find out how this high-stakes hunt unfolds. 5 a.m. The familiar truck rolls forward, carrying Finn's hunting team toward the hills of Province, where fresh wild boar tracks have been spotted. Upon arrival, the team wastes no time. They quickly coordinate with a pack of hunting dogs and begin the pursuit. Without hesitation, Finn's teammates dash toward the noise, driven purely by instinct. Right before their eyes, a massive boar scrambled to escape the tightening circle of hounds. But it's too late. A single, decisive gunshot rings out, sealing off any chance of escape. Then come the volleys, each shot a triumph, each fallen boar a symbol of reclaimed peace for this land once plagued by destruction. At the same time, over on the Morven hillside, a heart-pounding chase was unfolding. Nick's team was already in position, lying in wait for the perfect moment. Then a wild boar emerged, starting to tear through the crops below. Before it could cause more damage, the team opened fire. The first shot hit, but the boar, driven by raw instinct, bolted uphill, desperately seeking escape. Nick immediately followed the trail it left behind. And just as the familiar silhouette turned into view, a cold, precise shot into the air. The beast collapsed. No more running, no more destruction. Join Jay's hunting mission in the Ardennes forest, where the wild boar population is growing out of control, seriously threatening crops and the daily lives of local people. Before they had a chance to escape, gunfire broke out, rapid and intense. Some of the boars were taken down on the spot, while the rest quickly fled into the forest. But it didn't stop there. Another burst of gunfire echoed from deeper inside the woods, as if to send a clear message to these beasts. This is no longer a place where they can run wild. Suddenly, a signal came from one of the team members, right as the sound of rustling leaves emerged from the bushes ahead. A round burst out, lightning fast. Kevin's gunshot rang out instantly. The pack of hunting dogs rushed in, overwhelming the boar before it had any chance to escape. A clean, precise ambush executed to perfection. The sound of barking echoed from deep within the woods, signaling that the target had been spotted. Moments later, a wild boar burst out from the brush. Before it could sense the danger, John pulled the trigger. A precise shot, the boar dropped instantly. Gunfire soon followed from other positions, ending the hunt with swift, decisive action. Peace returned once more to the Eiffel Forest. The crops were safe,